Welcome back to the show. We are with Joe Kane, Alec, Neill and Denis O'Rourke. Well, of course, on the political front, it's been a most turbulent week for the ACT Party, and a number of political scientists and commentators are saying ACT's best days are behind her. Are we seeing the beginning of the end of the ACT Party, Denis?
I think we are. Yes, I do think we are. I think that ACT has been subsumed into the political mire of Parliament under the domination of the national government. And good on them for doing that. They've shown they're leading the way. But ACT can't handle it. Let's face it, they can't handle being part of a government. They acted much better as a party in opposition. They were a ginger group. They got some good stuff out there in terms of ideas and where to lead the country. They were worth listening to, but not now. I think they've had it.
Is Rodney Hyde a bully?
Yes, he is. He's a dictator. That's what he is. And I think that I actually agree twice with Denis here today. Is I actually think that it's so fractured now, very hard to come back, because Roger Douglas is also, you know, wavering, and I go good riddance. Because I think, like Denis, that they were much more effective when they were sitting outside. And it's a bit like the Maori Party that's totally been consumed by this government and the trappings of that power that goes with it. And I don't think that he's taken the rest of the party with him. And I've seen how he operates. And he's a swaggering, you know, lost a bit of weight kind of arrogance that I absolutely despise. And I think that that's really starting to manifest itself. And women don't like that. Women don't like that kind of...
Let's be frank about it. First of all, my colleagues don't understand MMP. Rodney will win his seat, the seat of Epsom. So therefore the ACT Party is not finished.
But
he will win his
Peter
seat.
Dunn.
Yes,
a party of one.
But remember that if he gets over his, if he gets his 3.5%, he gets his 5 members.
It's crazy,
and that is sufficient members to give you some effect in our Parliament. Peter Dunn, to be honest, is a neutered person in real terms. He has been very lucky to accommodate himself with all of the governments that happen to have been since 1996, when MMP became a reality. Rodney will be re-elected as the member. He will have 2, 3 or 4 people with him. National will choose as to whether they do or don't have him in their coalition. I expect they will. And but he is a bully. You're going to have to look at him to realise that he's a bully. But look, that's the way he operates. So is Winston Peters a bully?
Well, actually, I wonder, just very quickly, is this implosion, if there is one of ACT, actually going to assist Winston's revival?
Absolutely.
In terms of the centre-right?
Of course it will.
And well, Winston's not centre-right. Let's be honest about this. Winston's nowhere near centre-right.
Winston is in the centre.
Winston represents anyone that he can please by saying the things that they want to hear.
That's all that ACT has done. That's all that Rodney Hyde has picked up in the default position of a party that got more votes than he did.
Okay.
He's picked up the same issues. So
well, I predict that Rodney will lose Epsom, and I predict that New Zealand First will stage a significant comeback, and they'll be the force that National will have to deal with.
You've got to say who will win then, Epsom, because National will not put up an excellent and strong candidate against them.
And so therefore they should think strongly about that.
Exactly, I agree with you.
Has Winston inspired you with your local body campaign?
Well, actually, he hasn't, but to be honest, he has actually struck a chord, especially with the older people, and they trust him.
So you trust him then, I take it?
And I'm not saying that at all, but I actually admire his tenacity, and I admire the way that he engages with people, and I think he's done that especially with the older generation.
He's a charlatan. He's just a charlatan.
All right. He's got charisma. I mean,
he has charisma.
He's got charisma.
I have to move on very, very quickly. The northeast of Christchurch, there has been a petition presented to Parliament, thousands of signatures. The local community desperately want their own local high school. They think Māori is too far away, Aranui is too far away. It's a growing part of Christchurch. We could have Prestons playing host to thousands there. Is there a compelling need for a new school, or is this a case of white flight? Alec?
No, there's no compelling case for a new school. In fact, if Preston's gets the green light, and I have no idea whether it will or not, then in fact Maurihau is the obvious school for those children when Preston's has been created to go to. Right. The real problem is it's out of favour at the moment. We should be working to make it back in favour.
Okay, 10 seconds, very quickly.
Both these schools deserve better than what they're getting with kind of the rhetoric that's going around. We should be pouring resources into both of these schools and addressing what is actually wrong, and just building another school doesn't fix any of the problems.
I totally agree. Invest in the schools that are there, make them better, make them bigger if necessary. If the numbers don't justify it, you don't build a new school. End of story.
I've got 30 seconds on the clock for your heroes and villains of the week, winners and sinners. Any names to mention, Denis?
Well, I was pretty disappointed actually with Bob Parker, because I voted for him at the last election on the basis that he was an independent, and now what do I see? He's cuddling up to the Prime Minister and the National Party, and I didn't expect that. I expected him to stay independent right through to the end. So I think he's a bit of a sinner, and as far as the heroes are concerned, I think the guys who rescued the crew of that fishing vessel way down there in the Southern Ocean in those terrible conditions and rescued so many of them, I think that was outstanding.
Okay. I'll come back to Joe and Alec if I have time. Time is the enemy here. Just very quickly to the pick of the week. Hell, health, no fury, like a woman scorned. Well, this photo snapped in a Brisbane car park last week is certainly true to the adage. She was snapped in action as she was completing a little bit of artwork to the car. Last week's question, should the City Council have granted funding approval for Councillor Sheriff's California trip? 17% of you said yes, 83% no. The prize winner, I knock. I knock for who? This week's question. Does the northeast of Christchurch need a new local high school? We'll throw it over to you. Vote yes or no. You can email newsmakers@ctv.co.nz. You can use the post or the web, and you'll be in to win the goodies from Starbucks and also the Whitcoulls gift card. We have 30 seconds. Very quickly, any names?
Villains are for any of the City Council candidates that are putting their billboards on council land,
all right,
breaking rules, and the hero is Sam Mann. Love you, Sam.
10 seconds, Alec.
My hero is Joe Kane, who has put family before public office.
Good
Well
on you.
done, Joe.
Oh, and you got a kiss there. Very nice. Thank you very much for joining us. Good to see you, Denis O'Rourke. Joe Kane and Alec Neill. Have a good weekend. Go the All Blacks. Good night.